Welcome to the Courage to Live podcast. My name is Josh Bitzko. I'm a retired police captain out of Las Vegas with 24 years of experience. I currently travel the country and teach resilience and mindset specifically for critical incidents to first responders. So, today we're going to talk about how to build resilience. I think sometimes people make the mistake by making these grand attempts to become stronger or more mentally well. We think that if we just go to therapy one time and sit there and talk with a therapist, we're going to be better. Or I'm going to choose this new fitness routine that I saw some celebrity doing online, and then I'm going to look like them. This is a huge mistake when it comes to, you know, changing the way in which we live our lives. Because what I've learned, having made those mistakes over the course of my life, is it isn't always a grand gesture to become a better you, a more resilient person. And what is resilience to begin with? Resilience is the capacity to experience trauma or experience hard things and still perform mentally and physically afterwards. It's not about fixing problems later in life. It's about building the ability to handle big issues, to handle big events, and still live the life worth living and not let those things weigh you down. So for me, early in life, I would always, again, make the mistake of I'd see this workout online or, you know, try and make a huge change in my life in order to become better, whether that's fitness, whether it was Brazilian Jiu Jitsu or fighting or my mental health. I would try and completely change who I was at once to get the desired result. And I learned that was a huge mistake. And part of becoming somebody that focused on wellness and resilience, whether it was being a captain at the police department in our wellness bureau that we created for Las Vegas Metro, or even now teaching, I've learned a lot of things. And the biggest changes in ourselves come through the smallest habits. So let's say I want to become more fit. It's not about picking the right routine. It's not about making these big changes. It's about small little tweaks in our life over time, make those big changes. It's about consistency. And I think this is a common mistake people make in choosing motivation over discipline. So when you think about it, what is motivation? You're scrolling on Instagram, you see some influencer doing these hard workouts and they're saying, we all have the same 24 hours in the day. And, they're there to motivate you to change. But we're all different. We all have different lives and different responsibilities. So sometimes the biggest thing you can do is make that small change and make it part of your routine. And then make another small change and make it part of your routine. So it could be choosing to get more steps in a day. And that 10,000 mark is often one that is focused on, but finding what it is for you. Might be 8,000, might be 10,000. Make that part of your routine. Now you're going to start incorporating, let's say, weightlifting or bodybuilding, and you're going to go for, let's 2 or 3 full body workouts a week. You're making these small changes that in turn equate to large results rather than doing this grandiose change in your life that isn't sustainable. So, it goes to fitness and then diet. I'm going to stop eating Oreos before bed. Like maybe I have a problem with snacking. So rather than finding a whole new diet, going into the store and trying to stick to something that's unsustainable, creating these small little changes in your diet will have the same effect of creating these small changes in your fitness routine. And over time, over the course of, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, you turn around and you look and you've completely transformed your health. So now let's take the same thing for mental health is, let's say you're struggling with relationship issues and you're having a difficulty having the hard conversations with your spouse. Well, mentally, you say, I'm going to completely change who I am as a husband or wife. And I'm going to be more attentive and I'm going to be a better communicator and I'm going to do all of these things and I'm starting therapy. And I suggest therapy for everybody, anybody that's going to try and maintain a relationship. But the same thing happens. It's what about making a small change? What about, okay, this month I'm going to focus on putting my phone down and paying more attention to my spouse. Create that habit. And then I'm going to start having the small, difficult conversations. Like this thing bothered me. And rather than hold it inside, because I don't want to turn this into a big conflict and I don't want to, um, you know, let's say, quote unquote, ruin my day because we're going to turn this into a fight or it's a hard conversation. I'm just going to have a conversation, a small one, about this thing that bothered me. So now, over the course of 2 months, you're being more attentive and you're having harder conversations. So rather than making these grandiose changes in, who you are, making these small changes, and that can mirror every aspect of your life, whether it's your career, your health, as we talked about, fitness, relationships. What I'm going to ask is you focus on the small things. And if you focus on these small little changes, you will achieve the big results that you're looking for. But if you try and make big changes all at once, that's where the failure happens. Thank you for listening today. If you want to subscribe to our podcast, we're doing a mixture of small form podcasts and longer ones to try and deliver content in a little different way and hopefully provide an easier to listen to medium and gain some insight into your own resilience, your own mindset, and your own wellness. So thank you for listening today.